Hello everybody, welcome back to Read and Reread. My name is Angelia and today I'm going to do the New York book tag. This tag was originated by Jim at Jim's Books, Reading and Stuff, and I will link his original video. Jim has made several city videos that are book tags, and they are kind of fun, interesting questions. And I am researching some cities in preparation for a vacation we want to take this year that we haven't quite decided where we're going. So I thought New York is on my short list. So I thought it'd be fun to do these questions. So if you were interested, I'm going to link Jim's original video. Take a look at his video and his channel because it's got some really good stuff there. All right, so here we go. The first question is, what is your favorite book set in or around New York? Okay, so there are a lot of really great books set in New York City. A lot of favorites of mine are set in New York City. But, um, you know, let me make an analogy here. When I am ordering a dessert, and there are several really fabulous looking desserts, but one of them is a really great looking chocolate dessert. I have to get that one every time. It doesn't matter that I really love these other non-chocolate desserts also. I'm going to pick the chocolate one every time. So if you have been watching my channel for any length of time, you know that there is one particular book that if that book fits a prompt in any possible way, I'm bringing it into the questions. And so for my favorite book set in or around New York City, I must, of course, select Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. My all-time favorite novel, and it just fits so many occasions and prompts. I can't believe how many times I have squeezed it into a video or a list. But Catcher in the Rye does, of course, take place primarily in New York City. And it was published, I believe it's like late 40s New York City. Okay, it's copyright 1945. So kind of in that post-war period. And of course, after a brief part at the beginning where Holden Caulfield is at his prep school, he then takes the train into New York, and the rest of the time he is traipsing around New York City trying to avoid being discovered by his parents to be in town. And kind of goes on an odyssey around the town. If you have never read this book, all I can say is try it for yourself because it's kind of divisive. People love it, people hate it. I love it. I have loved it since I was 14 years old. I bring it up as often as possible, and I just encourage everybody to at least give it a try. But I love the picture of New York in this book. It's almost a character of itself in the novel, and it really kind of enchanted me the first time I read it as a girl who had not ever been to New York City. And I did eventually make my way there, but that's another question in the prompts. But this, and a lot of the places that he goes in the story are still things that you could do if you visit New York. Like he goes ice skating, and things like that. But it's winter time. It's the days right before Christmas. It's cold, and of course the book is funny and sad, and I love it. So that is my choice for favorite book set in New York City. The next question is, now this one is one I'm kind of drawing a blank on this one. New York City is famous for its skyscrapers. What's the highest building you have been up? I can't think of anything particularly high. I'm aware of some of the famous, like I don't know why I've never been up in the Sears Tower or whatever its name is now, because I've been to Chicago several times, but I've never gone up there. And I know they have like the thing where you can go out on the plexiglass thing, so it looks like you're standing, out in space. But I have not done that. I have been in tall like hotel buildings or things with like rooftop pools, but nothing like so strikingly tall that it's emblazoned in my memory. So I guess I'm kind of taking a pass on that one. Number 3, New York, New York. So good they named it twice. What is the last book you reread? Well, I had to flip back through my journal, but I didn't flip very far because it was A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, which I did read in December, which I have reread a number of times, and that was my most recent time. So, yeah, that was my last reread. But I do reread a lot, hence the title of my channel. Number 4, American Psycho was a disturbing novel set in New York. What is the most disturbing book you have read? Well, I did a whole video about the disturbing and traumatizing books. I think back in October, I sort of tied it in with the scary reading time. So I will link that video in case you like to hear about traumatic reading experiences. But the one that popped to my mind when I read the question was The Exorcist, which I freaked myself out with completely when I was about 13, when I smuggled it out of the library, hidden in a stack of books, because I knew my mother would not want me to read it. And I proceeded to read it, and it was, it was disturbing because it was about a girl around my age, becoming possessed by Satan. And then the movie, I eventually saw the movie, and that didn't help either. So that's my answer, The Exorcist. All right, the next question. Where were you when you heard the news about 9/11? Well, I was at home, and here is my story. So my daughter, who is now 21, was overdue to be born on 9/11. She was due around 9/6. And so at 9/11, I had started my maternity leave, but she wasn't there yet. And I was in the process, we were scheduling her to be induced on the 13th, and that is when she was born. So I was home that morning, and my husband had gone to work, and I got up and I turned on the TV, and I think it was the Today Show. And what I saw when I turned on the TV was a shot of the two towers, where the one tower had already been hit, and the commentators were, at that point, they were thinking that it was some kind of terrible accident had happened. And as they were talking about it, and the one tower was smoking and damaged and everything, I saw the second plane, fly in and hit the second tower. And when that happened, everyone on the TV, they either they kind of gasped, and then there was a silence. And I had that feeling like the top of the roller coaster feeling when your stomach just drops. Simultaneously, myself and the people on the broadcast all realized that this was intentional. And that was the moment when we all knew that there was terrorism. So that was when I found out. And then I called Stephen, and I told him, you need to see what's happening, but don't turn it on, because he was teaching art at the time. So don't turn it on if you have students in there, but you need to see what's going on. And so then it proceeded from there. And it was so surreal because, it was going on, all the things that happened that day, but I was still having to do this scheduling doctor thing. So I would be calling and talking to the nurse, and then we couldn't focus. We would trail off, and then we were both like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I can't concentrate. It was really strange." So yeah, that's where I was. I was at home. I saw it on TV live, and of course it was horrible. The next question is, what is your favorite movie set in New York? Again, there's just so many good ones, and I feel like I'll commit to this, and then all of a sudden I'll think of something I love that I totally neglected. But I'm going to say After Hours, the dark comedy from the 80s. It's a Martin Scorsese film. And I was recently thinking about this movie again because we've been watching Ted Lasso, and there's an episode called Beard After Hours, where Coach Beard has this all night long bizarre adventure through London. And I didn't see the name of the episode when it started. We were just watching it, but as it sort of unfolded, I was like, this is like After Hours. And then I realized they had intentionally they were inspired by After Hours. So anyway, so this 80s movie, if you've never seen it, I'm sure there's parts of it that are very outdated or don't hold up, but it's a very dark, surreal comedy about a man who spends all night in the weirdest corners of New York City, trying to get back home and just one disaster after another occurring. It's a fun but very dark and weird movie, and I do want to see it again, especially after being reminded about it from that Ted Lasso episode. The next question is, have you been to New York, and when was the last time you visited New York? I have been to New York. I've been there a few times, but I haven't been there in a really, really long time, which is why it is now on our short list as a possible destination for our trip. Because I haven't been there, we have not been there since before Emma Grace was born, which, as I have mentioned, she is now 21. So it's been a really long time. I'm not sure how exactly it fell out of the rotation of places we like to go, but I do want to go. You might be seeing me there later on this year. Who is your favorite painter from New York, or what is your favorite painting of New York? All of these questions have so many good answers. So, but I'm going to go, I don't know why this video is taking on like an 80s vibe, but I'm going to go with Keith Haring. And I have a little story here. So I have this journal right here. I think it's the same on the front and the back. But I bought this journal I guess I bought this journal in 1992. It's got a 1992 copyright on it. But I completely lost this journal for decades. And when we were moving, the beginning of our downsizing and moving towards retirement project began in when we sold a house in January of 2021, like 2 years ago. And when we were kind of in the end stages of clearing out that house, I found a box in the attic with some old stuff of mine, like things I had kept. And it was like a time capsule from the 80s and the early 90s. And this journal was in there, and it has a start date on it, and it had absolutely nothing in it. It was a completely blank Keith Haring journal, and I was so excited. So now I have been using it. I put some like show notes in there when I'm getting ready for a video. And anyway, I was so excited to find it again. I also had these cool earrings that were like the baby, remember the Keith Haring baby? And I can't find them anymore. I don't know if I could find them if I dug through all my stuff, or if they've gotten lost over the years, but I fondly recall those earrings. So that's my answer for that question. Then we have, what is your favorite song about New York? Well, I am in an 80s frame of mind this morning, because I am going to pick this song, New York, New York by Nina Hagen. And okay, if you are of a certain age, you will remember that when you bought an album, but there was a 12-inch single of a song with the extended mix and the remix and all that, you had to buy that as well. So we have the 3-track 12-inch produced by Giorgio Moroder, if that also brings back memories. So we have the extended track of New York, New York, and then we also have the German version of New York, New York. And if there is a video for this song, I will link it below. But Nina Hagen is one of my favorite super weird artists, and I love her forever. So I will see if I can find a copy of that song to put in the notes. Then the last one is to tag some people. And as usual, if you like this tag and you think it would be fun to do, consider yourself tagged. But I do not keep track of who has done or not done any tags. So the tags are free. Let them take you where you will. But anyway, I had fun answering these questions. Let me know what your answers to any of these would be, or if you agree or disagree with my choices. Please leave me a comment. I love to hear your comments. And give me a like and subscribe if you have not done that already. I noticed that several new people had subscribed this past week, so welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I hope that you are enjoying the videos. Have a great day, and I'll be back for Friday Reads. Bye-bye.